what I'm going to do with my notes. Put them back over here on the podium and just kind of wing it prayer. Thanks for having me here today. Thanks for being here. My name is Eric Grundman. I'm an assistant athletic director here at Marywood, head men's and women's golf coach. I was the men's basketball coach for 12 years. I've been in college athletics for over 30 years. I've been at Marywood now for 18 years. Interestingly enough, I interviewed for the job that I have now on 9/11/2001 at 9 a.m. So I'm going to talk to you about three things, and we can maybe have a little discussion after. I want you to please understand, I'm up here. I'll tell you why I'm up here after I say this. I'm up here not to lecture you in any way, shape, or form, not to pontificate. I'm up here, I would like to think more than anything else to generate some discussion, some open discussion about various issues. I'm also not up here to convince you or turn you or try to get you to become Catholic. I have found the past month and a half very interesting. How do you say it? Agape Latte. The Agape Latte young ladies and men approached me because I have a big mouth. I have a really big mouth. I went to Sister Kathy after our presidential address. Sister Persico's address on September 5th. There are 3 dates that you should remember. 9/11/2001, which is the day I interviewed Mary. 9/15/2016, which is the day I actually became Catholic. And 9/5/2018, which is the day that Sister Mary addressed the college. The president addresses the college every year. When I say the college, I mean the faculty and the staff of the administration over here in the Latour room. And during that address, Sister Persico talked about many things: the state of the university, where we are, where we've been, where we want to go, and where we are going. And she ended it with something that really, really touched me and sparked something inside me. And I went up to Sister Kathy after and told her. And Sister Kathy said, wow, I think you would be a great speaker at the first Agape Latte get-together. So if I had kept my mouth shut, I probably wouldn't be here. Let me say, in 18 years, I don't know who knows this, but we actually have angels that walk around this campus. And 3 of them that I think are angels are here today. Sister Kathy's one of them, Sister Rose is another, and Sister John Michelle. They have been such wonderful people to me and to this campus for the 18 years that I've been here, and I'm quite certain since before I was here. Let's give those 3. So let me kind of get into the meat of how I got here today. In the first topic that I'll talk about, it's kind of on the edge, and I'm not necessarily comfortable talking about it, but I'm going to talk about it because it needs to be talked about. It needs to be addressed. Keep in mind those 3 dates that I gave: 9/11/2001, 9/16, the day I became Catholic, 9/15/2016, and the last date is 9/5/2018, which is the day that the college faculty, staff, and administration were in the Latour room, and the president addressed us. As she addressed us, she completed her address, and she talked about something that hasn't been talked about a lot. And when she talked about it, I started thinking back to the day that I interviewed here, 9/11. And in my mind, I thought this: on 9/11, while I was sitting in a chair up in the athletic building, there were 2 great structures that had been hit, and they were crumbling. We all know what they are. They were the World Trade Centers. But I'm sitting in that room thinking about that. 2 great structures that had been hit. And there were people that were running from those structures, as well they should have been. There were people running from those structures. But while people were running from those structures, there were also people running towards those structures. We all know that, we all know the story. And those people that were running towards those structures, they were first responders. And while Sister Mary was talking, I started to think back to that day that I interviewed. And I started to think what Sister Mary was talking about. And what Sister Mary talked about, what she addressed, it took, for me to hear her that day, it took a woman, it took a nun, it took the president of a university to address the Catholic priesthood scandal. Yeah, I went there. It took the president of this university in front of faculty, staff, and administration to address it. And she addressed it so courageously. I call it truthful courageousness. And she talked about it. And I couldn't help but think, when she talked about it, that if we had been talking about it for 70 years, it's very likely we wouldn't have been talking about it on that day, on 9/5. And I was so proud of her. I was in awe of her. I was so proud to be at Marywood. And I was proud at that point. And again, I'm not here today to convince anybody to become Catholic. I have found in this group of young ladies and young men that I have met with 3 or 4 times now, it is a very diverse group. It's not a group of Catholics. It's not a group of Methodists or Presbyterians or Muslims. It's a very broad and diverse group. And we've had some really incredible conversations, very deep conversations. But going back to that day, all I could think of was this great structure that is the Catholic religion is taking a hit. And what I need to do, 2016, 9/15, I became Catholic. What I said to myself that day was, I need to be a first responder to the Catholic religion. There are people that are running away. There are people that are afraid. There are people that don't understand, that have been hurt. And I thought to myself, it's really important to me at this time to try to catch those people, to not run away from that structure, but to run towards it as fast as I possibly can. And to have conversations with those people who are afraid, with those people who've been hurt, with those people who might not believe anymore. Because I thought to myself, it's not the religion, and Sister Mary actually addressed it in this way. It's not the religion, it's that people are flawed. There are people who have flaws. And if there are people who have flaws within the Catholic religion, within any entity or group, you're going to have people who are flawed, who are going to do things that they shouldn't do, who are going to say things that they shouldn't do. It's not the Catholic, it's any group. And that's kind of how I got up here today. And I'm here today to say to you, if you are Catholic, or whatever group you're a part of, whatever group you believe in, whatever group you've invested yourself in, when something bad happens, the easy thing to do is to turn and run away. But if you truly believe in it, if you truly are invested in it, the important thing is not to run away. The important thing is to run towards it and to catch those people who are a part of that group and talk to them and get them to understand what's really happening, that it's an individual thing. It's not the whole, it's not the religion that's bad. It's individuals, inside the building or the structure or the religion that is bad. So if we want to have a conversation or discussion after this, we can. Let me move on to the second topic that the Agape Latte kids are probably tired of hearing this story because we talk about it every time we meet.
Never. We love it.
The second thing is is on that day that I became Catholic, 9/15/2016. On that day that I became Catholic, a guy named Father Joe Sika, Immaculate Conception, over in the east side of Scranton. I went through the process or the conversion with him, and I've always, there's a saying, and I've got a couple of minutes. I'm honored that you're all here, but I'm blown away that some of my golfers are here too. That is so cool. I have a saying, and it's my saying, it's for me. It's have faith in your purpose. Believe in what you do. Faith is always needed to make your dreams come true. Anybody ever hear that? I've believed in that saying for many, many years. My golfers know I've got about 1,000 sayings, but that's probably the one at the top of the list. And you should know that what happened to me on 9/15/2016, as it relates to having faith in your purpose, believing in what you do. On before 9/15, I've always had faith. I've always had faith in something greater than me, something bigger than me. Always. I've always believed in God. Not as a Catholic, but I've always believed in God. And I've always had a purpose. It's changed. It was a little different here and there. It was probably more of a selfish purpose. My purpose was before 9/15/2016. My purpose was probably more often than not about me. On that day, when I was baptized and confirmed, and a really cool thing, I got a godfather too. His name, I want to mention his name. His name is Tom Dempsey Sr. He sponsored me and became my godfather, and that as well was one of the coolest moments of my life. My father passed away in 1994, and he was somebody that I have great respect for and admiration to. But with that being said, when it happened for me, we walked out of that church. It was a weird feeling, because I felt at that point for the first time in my life that my faith and my purpose were married and joined together. My purpose was more focused. My purpose was more, it was just more focused. And what it did for me is it grounded me. It connected me, literally connected me to something that is greater than me. And we know what that is. And it changed me. And I think I was, and I hope some of my golfers would think this, I think before that I was a pretty good person. I would hope that they would think that. I'm pretty sure they do. But after that day, it changed me in a very, very good way, in an incredible way. And it defined my purpose. And what I mean by it defined my purpose is it made me figure out what this whole thing is about, what my life is about. My life, since that day, has become about giving back, investing in others, giving of myself to others. I'd like to think that's why I'm here today. Giving myself to this group. I do, and I should have said this to start, I do want to thank the Agape Latte kids, because they have been tremendous. And it has been a really cool and interesting 5 weeks. And I actually feel like a member of the group now. I don't feel like the guest speaker. I actually feel like a member of the group. They come to my office. Sister kind of hoodwinked me into this, but it's actually a very good thing. It's been a little bit therapeutic for me. It's been an incredible thing for me. But the first time they came to my office, actually we met in the Learning Conference, but the first time they came to my office, we had met with 3 and myself at the Learning Conference. Then the next time they came to my office, the group had multiplied to like 8. I thought, we're not going to be able to meet here. So we went over to the Hall of Fame room. We had an hour and a half conversation. We've done that, and I hope we can continue to do that too. So we've talked about you know, that pink elephant or white elephant in the room, that scandal, and not running away, running towards it, being first responders. We've talked about having faith and purpose and how your faith and purpose can, or what it did for me. It was married together. And the last thing I want to talk about is very interesting. And those people who work here at Marywood will find this, I hope they find it interesting, but we, 2 years ago, stopped doing this. But all of you who are in the room, someday soon, hopefully, you're going to get big boy and big girl jobs. Pay back those student loans, right? When you get a big boy, big girl job, what you do in many situations, many places, you get evaluated. You literally get evaluated. And you sit down with your boss and you kind of rank yourself. Like here, what we used to do here at Marywood, it's a little bit different now. But I went back into my files and I pulled out the last evaluation that I had before we changed our evaluation. And it's goal setting and various things, but it's also, we all know, at least I hope we all know, the core values of Marywood are who we are, what we're about, what we stand for. They're the pillar or the bedrock upon which Marywood is built. We all know that. The core values are hopefully what brought you here, hopefully what keeps you here, and when you leave here, hopefully what you spread throughout the world. There is an area in our evaluation, it's called a Marywood Performance Development Form. And there's an area where you evaluate yourself based on how you, throughout the course of a year, have lived the core values of Marywood. Now this is interesting. I want to read to you one of them. Does anybody know what the first one? You look at our website, when you go to our literature, what is the first core value of Marywood? Who knows?
Identity.
What?
Catholic identity.
Catholic identity. That's the first one. It's the first one for a reason. You know, Sister Mary always talks about she'll get in front of an orientation or various events. She'll go, you know, it's a Catholic university. Because sometimes we forget it's a Catholic university. It is a wonderful Catholic university that in 18 years never shoved Catholicism down my throat. I became Catholic because I chose to become Catholic, because I thought it was the best decision for me. I didn't become Catholic because I worked at Marywood. And it's been the best decision I've ever made in my life. But that being said, the first core value of Marywood is Catholic identity. And what it says on our form is a commitment to spiritual, ethical, and intellectual values in the context of a faith community. So, in 2015, the year before I became Catholic, you have to listen, or I'm going to read to you what I wrote. Our job is we have to fill this out, and then our boss looks at it and comments on it, and you get ranked. You get ranked as unsatisfactory. There's 4 rankings. So, in 2015, before I became Catholic, this is what I wrote about Catholic identity. Committed to the Catholic identity. That's what I wrote. And my boss wrote, definitely inconsistent. And I thought to myself, I didn't think to myself then. I didn't think then. There was no thought that went into this thing. It was absolutely, I put that down. I wrote, committed to the Catholic identity. Does anybody know why I put that down? I just wanted to get it filled out. I just wanted to get it filled out. I wanted to get it done, and I wanted to get it to my boss, and I wanted to get in and have my evaluation, and then move on to the next thing. Now, I thought to myself, I asked our secretary to give me our forms. I asked her to give me a blank form last week. And I said to myself, I want to fill out my performance development form today, now that I'm Catholic, now that I've accepted something in my life that's greater than me. It has changed a little bit. It's changed pretty dramatically. And it's something that I believe in. If I were to fill this, now we don't have to fill these out today, but I did, for myself. And if I were to sit down with my boss next week, this is what she would read. as it relates to Catholic identity. Have consistently used my relationship with God to be the best person that I can be, holding myself to high standards, treating others with respect, honor, and dignity, and making every effort to give of myself to others. 3 years ago, I committed a Catholic identity. I accept something in my life that's greater than me. And now, when I filled this out, I don't even have to submit it. But it means a whole heck of a lot more today to me than it did 3 years ago. So, I would love, Brian, what do I got?
You got a couple more minutes.
Are you guys getting bored yet? I literally, you have to understand my background. I'm a coach. But coaches are teachers, right? Coaches are teachers and leaders. My golf team sometimes wonders what in God's name is going on, because golf is different than basketball. I mean, I coached basketball for 28 years. I was a head college basketball coach for 20 years. So I've been in locker rooms at halftime, and some of them have been good, some have been bad, but I'm trying, in my mind right now, what I'm trying to do to not be nervous. I mean, I've spoken in front of 1,000 people before, but I've spoken to them about why we're not getting back on defense. I've spoken to them about, pick and roll, screen and roll, ball screen defense. I've spoken in front of 1,000 people at basketball games. I have never, ever in my life spoken to 50 or 60 people about me and specifically my relationship with God. And that's a big thing for me. When I made the change or the conversion or however you want to define it, when I did it on such a personal, individual level. There was nobody there. There was my godfather, there was my godmother, and Father Sika, and me. And Father Sika said, who else do you want there? I said, nobody. This is personal. I don't want anybody there. This is about me, and this is what I want to do. I wish today, if I had to do that all over again, Sister John, Sister Rose, and Sister Kathy would have been there. I can guarantee you that, or at least I would have invited them if I had to do it all over again, but I don't. But just for reference, I say this to you. I'm not real comfortable talking. I mean, my golfers would tell you this. I don't talk about my relationship with God a whole lot. What I try to do, to the best of my ability, is live the core values of Marywood. And in doing so, impact and affect and give back and have an impact on the lives of young people. And then when they leave here, hopefully they've had a good experience. And when they come back, which they do, we had our first alumni tournament last year and almost all of them came back. So I said to myself, I must be doing something right. All that being said, I kind of feel like in my mind, I'm inside the locker room right now. We're down 10 and I'm trying to motivate you. So if I do sound like a coach, I am. Okay. Second, do we know what the second core value is?
Second is like I know all. Respect.
You can't give them all. You know them all. I know. Respect. I'm not going to go through every one in terms of what I would write, but I'm going to tell you through the 5 core values what they mean to me or how I perceive them today. When I look at respect, and I'm not going to read to you what we have down is in terms of what respect is in terms of our core values. But one of the things that I find that drives me crazy today is, I wrote here, respect those who I disagree with. Think about that. We live in a really interesting time, and I do not want to talk about politics. But I am going to say we live in an interesting time, and one of the reasons the time is so interesting is because of politics. We all know that, right? It's crazy. And one of the reasons it's crazy is because there's not a lot of respect. And there's not a lot of respect from either side. It's both sides. Nobody listens anymore. If I disagree with you or you disagree with me, it's a fight. Nobody listens anymore. One of our secretaries has a saying at the bottom of her stationery, and it says, silent and listen are spelled with the same words. Anybody ever know that? It's pretty interesting. And I don't want to get deeper into that. What respect means to me is, and I need to do a better job of this. I'm a coach. You know what coaches do? They look for what you don't do well. And if you're a good coach looks at what he or she doesn't do well and then tries to get better. And if you get better, you're better. And I need to get better at respecting other people's opinions, specifically as it relates to politics. Let me end with this, and I think this is really cool. This is the last thing I'll say. I'm going to go right to service. Okay. And everybody in this room should be commended for this. Everybody in this room should be commended for this. We all know that Marywood is a Catholic university, and Marywood is committed to service. Everybody knows what service is, right? Everybody knows what service is. I wondered, and I contacted Annie O'Brien, and I asked Annie, I said, I think it would be really interesting to see what this number is. Do you know that last year, Marywood students, you know this, Marywood students performed 220,600 community service hours. Did anybody know that? Last year, Marywood students, you guys, a lot of you did. Just give yourself a hand.
Yeah.
So here's what you did last year. Last year, I did the math, okay? Last year, you know what you gave back? 3 years. 220,600 hours is 3 years. In 1 year, Marywood students gave back 3 years. That absolutely blows me away. What you guys do is so incredible. What this campus does, what those 3 women do, what Sister Mary Persico does, absolutely blows me away. And I am beyond honored to have been able to come in here today and have a conversation with you. I hope you don't feel like you were lectured. I hope you don't feel like I pontificated. I hope that you're able to walk away from this and some of the things that I gave to you were I don't know if you want to call them beneficial, but maybe open your mind up or open your eyes up, and it stimulates or and I'll stick around if you want, if it stimulates some discussion and opens things up and makes things better, then that was my goal today. So the nomadic chromatics, is that what they are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How terrific are they?
Yeah.
Like, they're absolutely terrific. If you walk around with your eyes closed, you can't see anything. You know, I hear so many people, well, there's nothing going on at Marywood. There's nothing here. Come on. There's a lot going on at Marywood. They were so good. And these Agape Latte young ladies and men are absolutely tremendous. I am indebted to you. Thank you. Thanks for listening to me today. And I'm in the athletic building, room 206. My door is always open. It is always open. You don't have to email. You don't have to call. If I can do something for you, if you need something, if you want to sit down and have a conversation, please stop by. If I got somebody in the office, just tell me who you are, and we'll make an arrangement for you to have a conversation. So thank you very much for listening.